Wonderful good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And now, welcome everyone to LogiMAT 2024, and of course, welcome to our Jungheinrich booth. Now, my name is Thomas, and solutions that fit from every perspective is Jungheinrich's motto this year. And since obviously every single intralogistics solution is different, we want to talk about what makes a perfect solution. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to welcome Jungheinrich solution expert Alexander Zeilhofer. Come on, give him a big round of applause.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Thomas.
Alex, now thinking back over the last few years here at LogiMAT, I remember that Jungheinrich always presented that one significant product highlight. I'll give you an example. For instance, in 2018, we had the ETV 216i as the world's first lithium-ion powered reach truck. Then last year, we had the autonomous mobile robot EAE 212A. And Alex, I'm trying to think, what would you say is the most significant product in 2024 from Jungheinrich?
Thomas, actually this year there is no specific product. This year it's about what really matters for our customers. And what really matters is not necessarily just a product here, a USP there. It's solution expertise, and it's about finding a solution provider. And that's what we are. We are a solution provider, and that's what our customers can experience here on the booth, on the live showcases, and of course while showing a cafe together with our experts.
Now, speaking of solution expertise, Alex, what would you say distinguishes Jungheinrich as a comprehensive solution provider from the many startups in the field and the competition?
Yeah, solution provider, provider of integrated solutions, one-stop supplier. Those are very strong terms. And when we talk about this, we always think about this tailor-made suite, this bespoke solution we put in place once for our customers. But for us, there's a couple of more aspects. And one important aspect is that no matter whether you are a shop close by that is searching for a pallet check or an international food producer searching for a fully automated solution, for us, it doesn't matter. We don't care about the size. We are open for customers of every size. And that brings me to the next point, that we are acting quite independently from certain industries. So again, shop close by, international company in the food sector, no matter what, we are open to offer our solutions for every industry. And the third aspect, and that's the most important one from my perspective, is that we do not offer these solutions only once in a time or once. We do offer it over years and decades because we want to be a partner for our customers. And that's what customers need. They need a partner over decades.
Excellent. So let's dive right in. Without any further ado, please be so kind to give us a nice and crisp example. How do you get started? How do you find the perfect solution for any given requirement?
When we talk about finding a solution, we tend to talk about material flow analysis, material flow consulting. No worries, whoever is here for just buying a pallet check, you're not going to be chased with material flow analysis. We're going to keep things simple. But indeed, if we talk about the big, fully integrated automated warehouses, we talk about material flow analysis and material flow consulting. So that means checking base data, checking different scenarios, from inbound to marshalling area, over years, TCO, consideration, and all that kind of stuff. Because proper planning, proper analysis is the base for the solution later on.
Yeah, now as you just said, Alex, in the beginning, Jungheinrich serves all kinds of companies in all sorts of industries, and a lot of the times these solutions include a high degree of automation. Now, there is a ton of examples that you can find on the Jungheinrich webpage, and there's actually one customer reference that I found not impressive, but particularly impressive, and that is an automotive supplier from southern Germany. What did you guys do there?
Would have wondered if we found only one good example on our homepage, because there's dozens of it, obviously. But I think the one you're referring to is an automotive supplier from the southern area in Germany, where we put in place a fully automated hyper warehouse for finished goods, where the production is connected with mobile robots, so a fully integrated manufacturing and logistics site. And yeah, for these customers, the whole circumstances were right for this solution, because we were talking about 3-shift operation, and since we talk about the Ländle, we talk about high wages, and the customer has a very, very good end customer base, so good circumstances for fully automation.
Yeah, now you just said it. In that particular customer case, you found the ideal parameters for full automation. Once again, that's a high-wage environment and it's a 3-shift operation. But as we all know, that's not always the case. And therefore, Alex, full automation or automation in general may not always be the standard path. Is that correct?
Correct. when we talk about this fully automated hyperwarehouses, one thing that you recognize immediately is the building height. 40 meters of building height, you often see that if you're in your car along the highway. In rural areas like this, it's not very common to have a building permission up to 40 meters. Sometimes it's only 10 to 50 meters. And in that case, if the customer is searching for storing fully pallets, a VNA-based solution might be better. Still, in this case, in the Ländler in southern Germany, we were talking about 3-shift operation, so a fully automated VNA solution would have been quite well, but maybe in Eastern Europe or somewhere else where wages are not that high, or in 2- or 1-shift operation, also a manual VNA solution might be good. So you can see customers change base data and we will always have an answer.
Yeah, now you just mentioned the auto VNA or automated very narrow aisle, and that brings us to our next topic, and that is Jungheinrich mobile robots. Now obviously we're finding ourselves here in the Jungheinrich mobile robot arena here at LogiMAT 2024, and last year, if you want to remember, and I said that in the very beginning, we introduced the public to the EAE 212A. Now generally speaking, Alex, what would you say is the role of mobile robots as part of the Jungheinrich solution range?
Yeah, as we all know, automation in general help our customers to overcome challenges like shortage of skilled labor, cost pressure, quality pressure. That's what automation does in general. And mobile robots in specific are a very good way to enter this world of automation easily, because it's comparably low-cost solutions we are talking about. And in the field of mobile robots, we do what we always do and act as a solution provider. That means we have solutions for different use cases. And let's come back to our example. In the example in the automotive supplier, we put in place an automated stacker, which was the perfect solution back then because we had to serve some racking also. But could be that the customer just wanted to connect conveyor to conveyor. In this case, our Arculem would be the perfect solution, or the other way around, the total opposite, lifting up to 6 meters with a counterbalance truck, then our EKSA would come in place. And if the customer would not be in the market for pallets, but for totes, for instance, the Magazzino Sotto would be a brilliant solution. So you see, different use cases, different solutions.
Yeah, so you just mentioned the Sotto and therefore small part container transport. And Alex, I've been staring at the Power Cube now while we're talking all the time, and therefore that brings us to small part storage. Now the Power Cube is one option, but I'm sure there's more.
And during your intro, I realized that you have quite some Jungheinrich history. One highlight you were missing is the STC, our stacker crane, from our mini-load stacker crane that we published here 3 or 4 years ago. Still a highlight, but already some kind of industry standard, and we put in place this solution in different references. One more option could be a carousel lift, for instance, that we showcased here in the LogiMAT, or manual racking. But you're right, you were pointing into the right direction. Our highlight, the Power Cube.
Yeah, and the Power Cube features a whole bunch of very specific advantages. So for instance, we have storage and retrieval from below. We also have a maximum load of 50 kilograms per container, which is absolutely unique. Now, can you give us an example of an environment where setting up a Power Cube would make utterly sense?
Yeah, let's do the trick. Once again, come back to our customer from the automotive industry. As I explained, we already took all the land for the hyper warehouse, but the customer is in manufacturing, and whoever is in manufacturing knows that it's a lot about transporting totes. And these totes have to be stored somewhere. Since we do not have any space anymore to build a new building, we have to deal with what we find. And what we find is typically 10 to 50 meter building height, sometimes 9, sometimes 12, and standard industry floor. And that's where Power Cube comes into place. Super efficient use of the space, so 10 meter, 12 meter adapting to the ceiling, and we get along with the floor. So for brownfield environment, like we would find southern Germany, perfect solution.
Yeah, now in our Power Cube showcase here at the booth, order picking and onward transportation are being executed manually. And I'm sure there are options, though, to automate that process. For instance, if your staff retires one day.
Obviously, I'm having some hard time to think about retirement already. As of today, if our customer wanted to further automate processes behind the Power Cube. We would maybe use our Soto or use static conveyor belts, but in the near future, static robotics and robotics arm will play a major role at Jungheinrich. For instance, as you can see here on the screen, a robot arm that is picking a toad, dropping a toad, or grabs something that is stored in the toad and puts it on a target position. And that's where order picking will get more and more efficient with Jungheinrich, since we're going to use robotics more.
Yeah, now, Alex, you said in the very beginning that Jungheinrich material flow consulting does not always imply automation. And that brings me to my very last topic that I just want to touch on very briefly here, and that is manual trucks. What would you say is the role of Jungheinrich manual trucks nowadays in the modern Jungheinrich warehouse? Are they still part of the game?
Manual trucks do play a role, and to be honest, we focus a lot about automation, focus a lot about being a solution provider, but still, manual forklift trucks are our core business, and thus it's about further developing this core business, and not just for the sake of it. We really put use in it, and there's two examples I would like to give. First one is assistance systems, digital solutions, fleet management, where we, for instance, support co-workers for the pre-op check, during the pre-op check in the early morning, and that prevents accidents and perfectly pays in every sustainability strategy of our customers. Other aspects, and that's the one I would like to finish with for today, is energy system. We support our customer in converting their lead-acid battery fleet into a lithium-ion based fleet, and that helps to save energy, and since we know energy is expensive, that helps to save money, and saving money is still what it's really about in logistics, I would say.
Yeah, and so eventually automation and lithium-ion technology can highly contribute to more sustainability and cost effectiveness. Alex, thank you very much for this comprehensive overview on the Jungheinrich solution range. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any further questions right now and you're here on site, we'd be very happy to talk to you right after this. And if you're just watching this from home or possibly from your office, please feel free to check first the Jungheinrich webpage, or even better, please contact your Jungheinrich expert. Thank you very much for your time and your interest. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.